Imagine a day in the future when the legal, administrative, and financial systems of a whole country are tokenized, where taxes are paid quickly, government bonds are sold on a decentralized blockchain, and real estate transactions take place in a matter of seconds. Let's say that country is Japan, and the XRP ledger is the blockchain that they have selected to serve as the basis for this change. Science fiction is not what this is. This might be Japan's national policy by 2035, according to a new roadmap purportedly issued by the country's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. The document, purportedly named XRP Ledger Integration National Strategy 2030, presents a daring plan to establish Japan as the first cryptocurrency nation in history. According to the concept, XRPL will be used to tokenize and operate every aspect of Japanese infrastructure, including government bond issuance and national ID cards. It's the sort of plan that seems almost too big to be true. However, the concept begins to seem not just feasible but inevitable when considered in the context of Japan's ongoing economic difficulties and its long-standing relationship with Ripple. First, let's comprehend the background. There is a population crisis in Japan. With a declining birth rate and one of the oldest populations in the world, the nation is having to adapt more quickly than nearly any other developed country. Digitalization, AI, and automation are essentials, not extravagances. Efficiency is crucial in this situation. The country is getting closer to sustainability with each yen saved on legacy systems, transaction fees, and bureaucracy, and blockchain is the perfect solution for it. The speed, cost-effectiveness, and scalability of the XRP ledger make it stand out among all blockchain platforms. With almost little cost and finality in 3 to 5 seconds, it can process more than 1,500 transactions per second. Additionally, it is eco-friendly, which is important for a nation like Japan that takes its climate pledges seriously. However, it goes beyond the technical details. Through SBI Holdings, one of the biggest financial conglomerates in Japan, the country has a strong and expanding institutional engagement with Ripple and XRP. One of Ripple's most ardent and early backers has been SBI. Millions of customers in Japan and Southeast Asia now have access to XRP-powered remittances and payment corridors, thanks to SBI Ripple Asia, a joint venture with Ripple Labs. Indeed, SBI Holdings CEO Yoshitaka Kitao has stated openly that he thinks XRP will establish itself as a global standard for financial infrastructure and payments. Even the option to receive dividends in XRP is available to shareholders of SBI. It is impossible to overestimate the degree of connection between the XRP ecosystem and a significant Japanese institution. It is long-term, strategic, and becoming more political. Let's now examine this 10-year program in more detail. The establishment of a national digital identity system based only on the XRP ledger is one of the plan's main components. People would have easy access to financial, medical, and government services thanks to an encrypted, verifiable ID token that is connected to their biometric information and personal documents. Japan may eradicate identity fraud, expedite bank KYC procedures, and potentially facilitate future cross-border digital identity compatibility with other XRP-powered nations by establishing ID on XRPL. The tokenization of sovereign bonds is another essential element. Since Japan has one of the biggest bond markets in the world, digitizing it on XRPL would make bond trading instantaneous, transparent, and far more efficient than the outdated procedures used now. Bonds with complete auditability and interest payments based on smart contracts might be purchased and sold by investors on the chain. The outcome: significant financial savings for the government and unprecedented accessibility for both institutional and individual investors. The roadmap doesn't end there though. Additionally, it suggests tokenizing real estate, converting paper land titles into XRPL digital tokens. Imagine completing the legal paperwork and registration for real estate acquisitions, which now take weeks in a matter of minutes. In addition to drawing in foreign capital, this would release trillions of dollars worth of underutilized real estate assets. Additionally, fractional ownership would be made possible via property tokenization, opening up a market that is becoming more and more inaccessible to younger generations. Another area that is ready for change is taxation. The suggested plan calls for the on-chain transfer of all tax collection. This would eliminate the requirement for yearly files and lower the possibility of tax evasion by enabling businesses and people to pay taxes in real time through programmable wallets. As a result, smart contracts would automate reporting, refunds, and deductions. This might truly be revolutionary for a nation like Japan that is attempting to strike a balance between effective revenue collection and a significant debt load. Then why the XRP ledger? Why not Solana, Ethereum, or another well-known blockchain? The design of XRPL holds the key to the solution. XRP Ledger was developed especially for financial use cases in contrast to other blockchains. It has never had a significant network outage and is reliable and battle-tested. It uses very little energy because it doesn't rely on proof-of-work mining. Most significantly, it is ideal for intricate financial applications like tokenized stocks, bonds, and currencies due to its natural capabilities, which include an integrated decentralized exchange and facilities for issuing tokens. Additionally, XRP provides neutrality from a geopolitical perspective. It's not as experimental or volatile as many other crypto networks, but it's also not state-controlled. Despite its flaws, its governance approach provides a degree of predictability and dependability that is crucial for national infrastructure. By selecting XRPL, Japan would be demonstrating its belief in transparent, effective, and interoperable financial systems in addition to embracing blockchain. Let's now examine the ramifications should this roadmap proceed. The first significant country to fully adopt a public blockchain for national infrastructure would be Japan, a G7 economy. Other nations would then be compelled to respond. Central banks would speed up their pilot programs for digital currencies. In all honesty, regulatory agencies would rush to catch up. Would you know that in order to guarantee compatibility with Japan's new system, the private sector would shift to XRPL-based solutions? Additionally, investors would flood XRP with cash, increasing demand for the asset that powers this whole revolution. The value of a G7 economy establishing its digital backbone on XRP is simply unfathomable, despite the fact that analysts have attempted to predict what this may do to the price of XRP. Consider this: the demand for XRP would not simply increase. In fact, it would become an essential component of a country's economic system. This is the pinnacle of utility. If even a small portion of this roadmap materializes, the price of XRP would undergo a dramatic change in perspective. It would transform from a speculative asset to a vital component of the world's infrastructure. Of course, some people are skeptical. Some claim that no nation would ever use a public blockchain to develop its vital services. Others doubt the clarity of XRP's regulations, particularly in the US, where Ripple has encountered some legal issues. However, the regulatory landscape in Japan has always been distinct. The Financial Services Agency, or FSA, has upheld a clear albeit stringent framework for digital assets, and the nation was actually among the first to approve cryptocurrencies. For years, Ripple has maintained close ties with Japanese regulators, and SBI's clout guarantees that any nationwide rollout incorporating XRPL will be compliant right away. Additionally, we must overlook the financial and cultural motivations. When it comes to adopting new technologies such as high-speed rail, mobile payments, and robotics, Japan has always taken the lead. It would be consistent with its history of innovation to be the first country to become entirely crypto-native. Talent, capital, and geopolitical clout would all be drawn in. By setting its flag in the digital frontier and using XRP to do so, Japan might go ahead of the competition in a world where digital sovereignty is becoming as significant as physical tech. Let's do a quick zoom out. The strategic and symbolic impact of this roadmap is truly enormous, even if it is only partially implemented. Japan is demonstrating how to use cryptocurrency as the rest of the world continues to debate how to regulate it, as national infrastructure as well as an investment vehicle. Furthermore, XRP would serve as the foundation of a future economy rather than merely being another token. The roadmap's last part mentions a significant speech the Prime Minister will give to announce Phase 1 of execution. Though the details of that speech are yet unknown, conjecture is growing. According to industry sources, it might involve a digital ID prototype on XRPL and pilot projects for real estate tokenization. That would mark the beginning of a new era for the adoption of cryptocurrencies worldwide, not just in Japan. What do you learn from all of this then? The pattern is evident whether or not all of the roadmap's details